cutting through the complexity of our product and really just to help users reach their goals. So I think the first step there is understanding what their goal is, and then going from there. I mean, even starting with a more basic experience, like no need to go super complicated at the start.
Welcome to Behind the Experience, where we give you an inside look behind the people who create the product-led experiences that we love. Each week, you'll hear inspiring UX examples, hard-earned lessons, and proven strategies from experts all around the world. This is one of your co-hosts, Ramley John, and Lila and I will be chatting today with Claudia. She is a success growth lead at Gorgias. Now, she leads all the product growth initiatives there, where Gorgias is a customer service platform for e-commerce brands. Today, we're going to be really talking about prompting users for human-assisted onboarding. Now, we love self-serve onboarding, but often there are times when users want to talk to somebody to get the help that they need. And in this episode, we're going to be chatting with Claudia about how they created a modal for users to self-select what they prefer, self-serve or human-assisted. Anyway, let's jump in our chat with Claudia. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the show. I'm super excited. This is a show where we focus on frameworks, tools, and really good UX that drive product adoption. This is Ramley John from AppQs, and I have here my lovely co-host, Lila.
Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing in the world? We're having a spring explosion here in Western Massachusetts. I have the daffodils from my garden. It's very beautiful. But we're also joined by a daffodil from the really good UX world. And her name is Claudia Pravettoni. I hope I pronounced that correctly. She's a success growth lead at Gorgias, and she leads product growth initiatives for customers at Gorgias. What a cool job. The customer service platform for e-commerce brands, a really, really cool up-and-coming product, actually. Big Gorgias fan overall. So welcome, Claudia. So happy to have you here.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So we just kind of dive right in here, and we'd love to know, how do you define, onboarding at Gorgias? I assume by your title that there's a split definitely between like pre-purchase onboarding and then post-purchase onboarding. So I'd love to know just a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so at Gorgias, we offer our customers a 14-day trial, and that's kind of owned by our marketing team. And then the success team and our existing customers, which is I focus on, are about the post-purchase experience. So we have that split. Within the success team, onboarding for us is a process from when they purchase up until when they establish a habit with our product and they start to see the value of it. Over time, we've taken a data-driven approach to understanding like what this onboarding looks like and what it means to have finished your onboarding. So really understanding when have they reached a moment where they see the value in our product. For us, it's at least when they have at least one active integration. So Gorgias is a platform that is a help desk that helps you answer your support tickets all in one place. So, you need to integrate your email, your social media, your maybe other e-commerce apps, your phone, SMS. There's so many integrations to pipe all your kind of channels and data into one place. So that's a really important step. And we need our customers to set that up. And then we also need them to use at least 2% of their billable tickets. So billable ticket is what kind of the usage of Gorgias is based on. And that means, that they're replying to their tickets through the Gorgias platform, and they've done that like enough times for them to be comfortable with the platform. And yeah, so that's how we define onboarding.
Nice. And you said 2% itself, in terms of billable tickets. How was that? Was there some kind of magic numbers or like regression testing and like all this other stuff to really figure out 2% is that magic sweet spot to, that they're more likely to convert? Or I'm guessing it's a trial and error, and it was like an iterative process to figure out that spot.
Yeah, it was both like iterative, we got there, and then also deep diving into our accounts and figuring out, like at what point do we also maybe see churn? Like, is there a threshold that users need to reach to really like see this value? Or if they don't reach that threshold, will they churn? And we work closely with the data team to figure out this like 2% of billable tickets. We do revisit it every half a year every quarter, just to make sure that this still makes sense for our customers. I think also as you grow, like customers that are coming in aren't always the same as they used to be. So you need to just make sure that you're keeping up with who your users are. And also, I think as an e-commerce app, you need to also take into account what's going on in your wider industry, and like making sure that our growth and our use of the platform is based on our customers' growth and use of of their stores. So again, we just need to make sure that that still makes sense currently. So we revisit that threshold and we dive into it and make sure that's still still the right one.
Yeah, that makes total sense. And I mean, I imagine just you probably have a lot of cross-functional work going on across your onboarding. So, how do you work with multiple teams, like to make sure that the experience kind of flows from pre-purchase to post-purchase seamlessly? So, how do you do that?
Yeah. So I think one step is first within the success team. So I'm on this like success growth team. And then we also have our activation team. So the number one sync is even within our own team, kind of getting feedback from the ASMs that are out there onboarding our customers, and seeing also how they interact and if they have any feedback on our like self-service flows and in product flows. And then on the wider scale, let's say within the company, we work closely. Yeah, we have some like bi-weekly syncs with the marketing team on the trial side, and we kind of keep each other updated, like what experiments are they running on their side, what do we have on ours. And then I do rely a lot on our amazing ops team to, if there's kind of some new experiences that I want to launch, making sure that we have the traits and the like events to target and to get these flows going. And then again with our engineering teams. So what I do with app queues is, maybe you'll get your flow set up and you'll see your tooltips on like the element and the selectors that you want to place those elements on. And then once I've kind of defined the flow for sure, I'll bring that to our engineering team and say like, hey, can you make this selector a static selector, and make sure that like whenever you do new like updates and releases to your front end, the selector stays the same and it's not gonna get in the way of our in product experiences. So I think, yeah, it requires a lot of coordination with other teams, both in kind of letting them know what we need and just making sure that everyone's aware, and you give yourself enough time to plan ahead, and for the other teams to plan ahead the work that they need to do as well.
Yeah, that's a key one, giving that time for everybody to get
Yeah.
on the same page. Can I kind of poke and ask some tactical questions about how you do that? Like, do you have a shared wiki or a calendar or a shared experiment board or a Trello? Like, how do you let other teams know what you're working on and when?
Yeah. So in Gorgias, we mainly use Notion documents for like documenting the why we are doing things. So we're like super transparent as a company, and if you want to know why we're launching a certain initiative and why we're going after that certain thing, that will be all documented on Notion. So that gives other teams context. And I think, again, with any request that you go to other teams, like context is key. And then in terms of more kind of task requests between teams, we use both Asana, kind of on maybe like the ops side and kind of other teams. And then our engineering team works off of Linear. We have some cool automation bots that work between Asana and Linear as well. So it all kind of flows. But yeah, I think context is key. Even in those Asana tasks and those Linear tasks, we link back to the Notion document with the kind of the why. So then they also know like, yeah, why we need their time. And yeah.
I love that. We use Notion as well, and we're doing a lot of that. Notion, Asana, trying to keep everything documented in multiple places, because especially if you're remote, you have to send things over and over again. You have to remind people because they're getting a lot of information.
Exactly. Yeah. Both being remote, like a distributed team, and then different time zones, like, everyone, if someone's sleeping, you want that information to be accessible anyways, and then
Right.
for someone to go ahead with the project.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
absolutely.
Thank you for sharing that. I want to dig a little bit into some of the experiences that you have here at Gorgias. And for people who are tuning in via podcast here, there's a checklist here on the right. When you log in for Gorgias as a new user, it says Welcome, Ramley. Follow the steps to get started. And there's 5 different items here. Connect Shopify, connect email, connect live chat, connect Facebook and Instagram, and add team members. And right below it, there's learn how to use Gorgias, and there's a play button that plays a video. Can you talk a little bit about like how this experience, this particular checklist came about?
Yeah, so I must admit this came about before my time. um,
Mm,
but yeah, so it's kind of a native checklist that has kind of the main steps that you need to get set up with Gorgias. As I mentioned before, integrations are key for us. So you'll see actually 4 of them there. Your Shopify store, and if you're using another platform, that name will dynamically change into something else. Your email, live chat, and then social, or in this case, Facebook and Instagram. And then we have also team members. I think this is sometimes overlooked in general, but if you're trying out a new platform, especially this checklist is visible both in the trial and the kind of post sale experience. Getting buy-in from other team members on the platform, I think, is really key. Yeah, again, both when you're trialing, but also I think you always have to have buy-in from the rest of the team when you're using a platform. So making sure that other team members can try it and see it for themselves. And also, Gorgeous is a platform that, it depends on your use case, but you might have your marketing manager who wants to have access to the platform because, your social media comments will be replied to from Gorgeous. Then you also have, of course, like your customer support team lead, and you can have kind of different roles within the company all joining into Gorgeous. So again, that last step is a key one that maybe sometimes is overlooked. And yeah, so as you progress into the steps, you click and you get brought to the to the page where you can do those actions, and then they will
cool.
just be like ticked off when you complete them.
That totally makes sense. Another really cool thing I found when I was playing around, I signed up a few times. Gorgeous. I apologize to all the backend team there with the 10 different Ramley signups. But another,
Everybody watch out. Ramley is coming for your trial. If you see RJ, Ramley J,
Ramley
watch
test.
out. Yeah, Ramley test, watch out.
I
Love
love it.
it.
But another really cool one I thought was there's this ticket here. The first ticket. Let's send your first message is from the founder of Gorgeous, Romain. And it's congrats, Jeremy. You can now respond to customers from Gorgeous. Let's get started. Respond to this message. And I actually responded. I'm not sure if somebody from the Gorgeous team saw that. It's like, hey, this is Rami. This is a test. I'm sending this out. This is a cool real thing to like kind of encourage people to try this out. But like, is that? I'm guessing there's a lot of people who do a lot of people reply back to this. I'm really curious what how this whole came about.
Yeah, so I think one of the friction points that we saw with Gorgeous is people are kind of, maybe they've set up all their integrations and like they are ready to go, but they just don't make the next step, and it's kind of like starting to actually reply to customers on the platform, maybe because, a bit of fear factor, or like you're just getting used to it, and you don't really know how it's going to go. So giving them the chance to actually start that action, start that habit of replying to tickets is what we're trying to do here with this action, with the sample ticket. And yeah, kind of like getting you familiar with the platform. And I think it's also great because when you sign up, it's there, it's in your tickets page. The tickets page is where you land when you come into the Gorgeous platform. So it's like staring right in front of you. It's kind of like a pop-up that's embedded straight into the platform. That's how I see it. Like this message could also be kind of on the side, but in this case, we're getting them to complete the action that like they're going to use Gorgeous for. And yeah, and then the message exactly like why are you trying Gorgeous out? Get some more information on customers there. I must admit, it's not the most kind of standardized, that's a word,
Mm.
standardized way of collecting answers to that. So then I can talk about this later, but what we're trying to do with app queues and in our onboarding is kind of collect that your goal with Gorgeous in a more standardized way, so then we can kind of use that information to segment your journey later on. But yeah, it's kind of like a fun fun way for a user to get started with a platform and get more comfortable with it.
I love it. And then the very last one here. Oh, by the way, I really love this. I think it's like any way you can teach people how to reply in a low friction or low pressure. I don't
Yeah.
have to actually reply to an actual customer, which if it messes up, you're embarrassed. But this one's really
Yeah.
great. Uh,
Yeah, learn by doing is my favorite way to
mm,
do anything. Like I a lot of times will just spend time doing something I didn't need to do to like learn the mechanisms of it or like reverse engineer how it works. So I love when products include this, like, among all the other options, because some people don't like learning that way, but I really like having that option. So that's great. And I see this more and more. So I think
mm.
people are getting wise to this concept.
I totally agree with that. With what Lila said here. Another one, actually, this is one Lila found here, where there's I believe there's a thing that shows up, says "Get started with Gorgias. How would you like to get set up?" And there's three options: book a call, quick guide, and the other one is other. Can you talk a little bit about this, Claudia? How this
Yeah. So again, I joined Gorgias, well, that's a while ago in end of August. But before this, we were driving our users as much as possible to our activation success managers, which I still think is a great way to get set up, especially for, higher touch customers, our enterprise customers. Like, yeah, getting you on a call is essential. But maybe, also like thinking about scaling your both like your onboarding and as a company, maybe some lower touch customers and there are like some basic plans. You don't necessarily need to get them on a call. So what we wanted to do here is kind of also gauge our users' interest in kind of getting set up on their own. So what we're trying to find out here exactly is you saw the option to book a call with your ASM, with your Activation Success Manager, but you can also go through our amazing Gorgias Academy quick setup guide, and it just takes you around 20 minutes to go through all the steps that you need to get your Shopify set up, your email, your social, and like kind of other steps. And yeah, so that's another way, if you don't even want to watch like a webinar or like this is kind of like your own pace, you can figure out how to get set up with Gorgias. That's kind of to see like, is there anything that we're missing here? And then we actually had a second step, or we added after a while a second step to this onboarding flow. So other would then lead you to another modal, which would just be, are you interested in getting set up maybe through an agency partner? Are you interested, or like, I don't know, are there other reasons why you don't want to get set up right now? Is it because, I don't know, what are we not capturing? Is your store not live yet? Are you having like kind of some other issues that just mean like this is not the time to get onboarded? So yeah, just like a quick way to also understand user preferences and kind of highlight any issues or any other like friction points that our users are having in getting set up.
That's super interesting. And like, did you have fun seeing the different like clicks roll in for these various areas? And, what was the breakdown? And like, did you take any action on some of the learnings from there?
Yeah. So what came out of it was that our users are really interested in setting up on a self-serve basis. So the quick guide was definitely the most clicked option here, and that was really interesting to see. And I think a testament to both the work we're doing on the academy and kind of the path forward towards a more like self-serve experience. So what do we do from here with our results? Yeah, we did invest more into kind of a more structured, like kind of onboarding self-service page with some more detailed next steps, with links out to our academy, to our webinars. Just like let's invest even more in a self-serve experience for our customers, since that's clearly what they want.
Yeah, that's awesome. Was that page like embedded into your product, like
It was,
native?
yeah.
That's
I
awesome.
mean, I'm in my role, I'm a fan of kind of low code, no code tools. So I've used another one of those to create this page myself. And then it's great, yeah, launching other app queues off of there and kind of just bring the whole experience into one with minimal engineering work.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I mean, the other thing that we wanted to ask you is around what you're looking forward to try out next. I'm guessing you experiment with different things, or is there anything that you're working on right now that you're really excited about, or something that you're going to be working on that?
Yeah, I think a more tailored onboarding experience. I mean, That's always a goal, I think, for a lot of companies, just cutting through the complexity of our product and really just to help users reach their goals. So I think the first step there is understanding what their goal is, and then going from there. I mean, even starting with a more basic experience, like no need to go super complicated at the start. Let's just like give them maybe 3 different onboarding flows based on what they want to do with Gorgias, see the results from there, and then keep iterating. No need to build a castle right away, maybe like start simple and then iterate. So we're launching some of those soon. I'm really excited to see how this is going to play out. There's kind of different levels also, I think, to tailoring onboarding. You can use data and information that like you've captured yourself. So we know if they're a Shopify store or if they're on BigCommerce or Magento. That kind of also changes what you can do in the platform. And we need to make sure that our onboarding experiences are tailored to what kind of e-commerce platform they're on. And then also the role of the user. So are they an admin? Are they a basic agent? That's also, that kind of ties into more of their goals with the platform, but it also links back to just what can they do on the platform. Like a basic agent isn't going to be able to add integrations like an admin is. So we need to make sure that our experiences are coherent with that. And then comes the other side of the kind of the data collection, which is actually asking your users some questions. And we really want to gate this into the onboarding experience more. Right now, we do have a survey that they can complete if they want to, but this needs to be like upfront right away. Like, what is your goal with Gorgias? And then from there, tailor it into different flows. So if you want to use Gorgias for social media management, like we'll focus a lot more on connecting your Facebook, your Instagram, but then also maybe setting up some rules and some more like views, kind of like more nuanced parts of the product specific to like, social media management. If you're keen on automating as much support as possible, we'll make sure that we highlight those features. Yeah, so just making sure that we're showing them the value based on what they need, like right away.
That's awesome. And do you find, this is like kind of a philosophical question, I guess, but do you find that, we're looking at this at AvQs right now, and I've like changed this at previous roles, but that the user role itself actually maps to their desired actions? Or like, do you find that the user role in your product, like, is just kind of more of like a description of what they have access to rather than relating to anything they want to accomplish in the product? I feel like this is something that we, as product people, we deal with often.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go and say, I think it also depends on the company size. For maybe, a small store that has, like 3 agents on there, like admin will mean something different than in your enterprise account. Maybe the admin of an enterprise account is someone who doesn't even log into Gorgias often, maybe they're just like the account owner and they've set it up for their team, but then their team isn't the one, they're not the one like in the in the trenches or like in Gorgias every day or every week. So that's another factor that I think it's like like I think generally they don't really map on the user. They don't always map on the user, especially because of company size. That's like a big factor that plays a part in kind of this discrepancy between user roles and what they're actually there to do. I mean, I've seen it also with tools I use. I don't think I always have the right role based on what I'm doing or how often I'm using that tool. So it could be a fake friend, I think.
Totally. A fake friend is a great way to put that. I completely agree. We have that in translation, right? In language learning, I have a fake friend. But yes, totally agree. And I feel like, in AppQueues, we have a drop down where you can select like what, department you're working on. And I know we haven't used that to really target anything. I've like looked at it, but a bunch of people don't fill it out. So, if it's not required, but I've always I've wanted to work towards the concept of having roles and goals somehow be related to what you actually get access to and how the product looks to you. But
yeah, and I think like it's maybe using even like some framework like jobs to be done framework or things like that. when you start to kind of also analyze your users from that perspective, I think once you do have some data, like quality data from the users, you can then map that to their roles and see if there is any relationship or not between the roles and what they're using the platform for.
Absolutely. So I think we kind of touched on this a little bit already, but what are some things that maybe surprised you in some of the onboarding that you've set up so far, or any of the experiments that you've been working on?
What has surprised me? Yeah, I mean, I think I will go back to the one that we showed, and I think it was surprising to see how many users did want to get set up through self-serve, and that did kind of pave the way and open it up to us investing more time and effort into that experience. Let me I don't really think of
That's
something else.
okay. That's okay. That can be the one thing that surprised you. You don't have to rack your brains. You don't have to rack your brains. But I do agree that it often, seeing the numbers laid out in the actual clicks can be really affirming in a lot of ways, because you're like, oh, I didn't realize this many people didn't want to talk to us, or
Yeah.
whatever the case may be.
Yeah, I think also what I love about AppQs is the details that you have also on like flow skipping and then, like drop off. So we're about to actually launch a new longer flow. And that like kind of guides you around the product a bit more. And what we're definitely going to do is keep it skippable, because if you don't,
Yep.
you're like, okay, great. Everyone completed the flow. That tells you nothing because they've probably just skipped it really quickly. And then
Exactly.
by having a longer flow that you can skip out of, it's useful to see drop-off points, and then you can iterate maybe on that point, be like, okay, well, maybe we shouldn't guide them there. Maybe the next step should be another one, or maybe we need to change the copy. And I think I think people exiting your flows is actually such a valuable data point, and one that you can use to improve your experiences even more.
100% agree. Claudia, I love talking to you every time I get a chance to. How can other people find out about you, maybe connect with you? Or is there something else you're working on that you would want to share out?
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to chat everything product growth with anyone else. So you can find me on LinkedIn, Claudia Pravettoni. Also on Twitter, just Claudia Prave, if anyone's on Twitter. And find out anything else I'm working on. Yeah, I mean, nothing on the Gorgias blog yet. Maybe hopefully soon.
Nice. We'll keep a lookout for that.
Yeah, we'll get that sorted with our content team. I've been working on our like homepage a bit. There's some articles, on my LinkedIn that you can find about the work I've been doing there.
Oh, cool. So
yeah.
check that out. Awesome. Well, thank you, Claudia. Like I said, always a pleasure. Really happy to have you on the show. And that's all the time we have for today. Thank you to everybody so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. See you.